Hey, this is Witty, and welcome to a Warcraft 3 1v1 gamecast by me, of course, Witty, as you already heard when I said it the first time, and then I had to say it twice, and maybe I'll just say it 3 times for the hell of it. Witty, there you go. Now this is a replay of the week from tft.replayers.com, and the players are HPE.Th000, so I'm just going to call him Vo. Although I'm pretty sure that's not how you would say it, but I'll do it my way. And this one's a little easier, Fs.Passion, so we'll call him Passion. And then when I forget their names later on, I'll just call them the green guy, the purple guy, or the human guy, or the undead guy. But this has got very high ratings, and it is replay of the week, so it's got to be pretty good. So, let's cover it then, shall we? Obviously I'm not playing, so I won't be telling you what I'm doing other than saying what I'm seeing. And right now I'm watching this acolyte make his way to the enemy base, because he wants to see what's going on. So we see a Death Knight is being built, Tome of Relics, Crypt's almost done, and Graveyard. So I detect fiends. Why would you want to make anything else? Although ghouls are quite useful in 1v1 actually. They always have been. I don't think there's been a point where ghouls haven't had their uses in 1v1 other than chopping wood. I know you could just make that excuse. They make the wood get chopped, which then in turn gives them the wood to then build on buildings. And that acolyte got there pretty quickly. So as you can see, this is a fairly small map, but I actually like the way this map looks. Now I don't believe this is actually a map on the Blizzard. Well, it's not a natural Blizzard Warcraft 3 map because I had to download this, and obviously I wouldn't have needed to do that unless it was later created by Blizzard and then they put it up on their website. I don't know, but either way, I like the way this map looks. Death Knight coming in to try and do a little bit of block on the footman so he can't keep getting those few little jabs in on that acolyte. He should be able to make it back to base, and then within the range of the Nerubian Tower, hopefully. Meanwhile, the Death Knight doesn't want to waste his time on this one footman. A lot of players might just take the time to bring that Death Knight and focus that footman, but he wants to get straight in on the Archmage fast creeping, which he's already done. Oh my, that's all gone already. What are those humans like? That's one little issue with this map I can tell straight away. This is the first time I've seen it. I like the look of it. Just on paper, lots of shops, short and sweet, but at the same time there's enough distance and enough angles and places to go visit before having to deal with your enemy, or you could go straight to your enemy if you wanted. The choices are there. Ah, I see. I was wondering why one of the players would have pinged there. I'm going to go select... Oh, I can't actually. I'll have to select on one of the players and hope that it's an AFK player, because I don't really want lots of pings going off, particularly. Now... Foe is creeping even harder, and he's doing this with lots of militia. He's got 2, 4, 6 militia there, so that's the key number. He's going to need those militia when bloody Passion comes in and sneaks a few extra death coils to take care of those militia. Obviously Foe wants to try and secure an expansion here, and he's just concentrating on the creeps. He's leaving his militia, his water elemental and a footman on the creeps, whilst leaving a few footmen spare and his archmage to focus the Death Knight. So that's interesting. I mean, I'm learning already here. I don't ever watch replays. I might have done, like, God knows how many years ago, but I've never really watched replays. So everything I've done in Warcraft 3 is pretty much just from trial and error from myself. I've never really seen other people do certain tricks or, you know, whatever to capitalize on the most efficient manner of creeping, and that was very good. He dealt with that. I'm not sure how I would have dealt with it, but I wouldn't have dealt with it that well. I know that much. So next time I'm in that situation, I'm thinking I'm going to do the same. An Archmage and a few footmen will be more than enough to fend off a pesky Death Knight and maybe a fiend or a couple of skeletons. I like the base layout of Foe. This is very closed in. It's going to make it flying sheep. That is definitely not a normal Warcraft 3 map. Okay, let's go back up here since action seems to be going down. It looks like it's Foe's turn to deal with Passion trying to creep, and he's done quite a good job because that Death Knight is not going to be able to heal anytime soon. He can only really do so on Blight, and his Blight is rather limited, as you can see, and he doesn't want to sit on Blight all day. So once he gets enough Fiends, he can start creeping and keep his Death Knight nearby, but hopefully as close to the action as possible whilst staying on Blight. At this point, he's just staying by the Nerubian Tower because he's so concerned about Foe getting an attack on his Death Knight and bringing him down to even less HP. He hasn't got statues yet, but he will do once this slaughterhouse is finished, and he's going to need those statues. I don't think Undead go very far in 1v1 without statues, so he's doing rightly there. Now Foe is creeping even harder. He's level 3 halfway through. We've got Passion almost at the tip of hitting level 3, but not quite there yet. So if Foe gets another creep camp done before Passion, or even denies him a creep camp, because there's this one right here that obviously Passion's going to want to aim for, unless he's going to go harass and expand, or maybe he's going to spot where Foe is and creepjack him once again. But Foe's more or less dealt with those trolls, got the items he wanted, and is trying to take care of these fiends, since it did get inside. That's it. Oh, this is looking a bit ugly, to be honest, for Foe. I'd get out of there. Definitely. Get that fiend, get out, because Passion's just going to capitalise on a few extra footy kills when those damn troll trappers keep trapping everything. Yes, you don't want to be sitting next to troll trappers when you're fighting an enemy player, believe me. Never goes well. And they almost always go against you. 50-50 chance a lot of the time. Someone's going to argue with me on that, but I'm going to say 50-50 either way. Weak-ass footman does not want to engage first. Get back. Let the others take the flak. That's it. That's a good boy. Get back to base. Now we can see Foe is going to be getting punished by the Death Coil / Nova combination every now and then when that is available. And when Passion has got his statues available, he's going to be doing that even more, because he's going to be getting mana and health back from the statues consistently, which means more mana pelts basically on the Archmage, which is a strange way of saying spells, but there you go, mana pelts. So Blacksmith is being created, for which purpose I am not sure. Either upgrades or maybe knights later on. I would severely doubt that griffins are likely to be created. Foe's doing a really good job here, just buying time, because he's not really going to beat Passion's army, but he can kind of do a good job of fighting it off without really losing too much, considering that Passion is undead and he has a lot of options for nuking units. Coil, Death Coil. Coil, Death Coil, and maybe a Nova. But probably a lot of Death Coils, actually. So Foe's going to want to get healed up before he engages again with Passion. Passion's putting the pressure on. Lots of arcane towers, at least 2, which is nice to see, because that's actually a really good... Oh, that is such a long-range Nova. That wasn't even on the screen. Oh, the footman gets away just again. And Foe's having to back off a little bit here. Just doesn't really want to engage, because he knows that Passion can do a lot of hit and run tactics, and this is something that I do believe happens a lot in 1v1, though I wouldn't really know. But humans building a lot of towers. It looks newbie as hell, but I'm telling you, if the pros are doing it, they're doing it for a reason, because they need those towers. Looks like Foe's just about surviving on footman. By the looks of it, I don't see any other unit types just yet. He's looking for an opportunity to go to Passion's base and maybe do a little bit of a base trade. He's hoping that his towers are hold off, but it's still not easy against fiends, which have got superior DPS, or rather just high damage overall. I'm not sure which range unit actually has the best DPS if you're going to look at it damage per second, but when you come to micro, then fiends are probably way up there, since they can hit, run back, and avoid lots of damage. Foe is actually putting so much pressure on this Black Citadel, he's probably hoping to provoke a lot of Acolytes to come and repair it. But I'm sort of surprised that he didn't just go straight for the Acolytes. Now's the opportunity to probably go for those Acolytes, because otherwise all that damage on that main is for more or less nothing other than draining the resources of Passion. But at the same time, Passion is getting lots of kills on these footmen that are just spamming on the main. Now he's going for the Acolytes. Now he's going for the Ghouls. Meanwhile, Passion has done a lot of damage in the main base of Foe. He's not really taken too much damage. Overall, he's doing well. That statue, as I thought, might be on a very low mana, because that's been spamming out a lot of heals and a lot of mana to those heroes. I don't think he'll get that altar. That Mountain King is building pretty fast, and Foe does have the option to heal. The heroes could probably get a nuke off by the time the peasants get to repair it, so maybe actually the Mountain King will not be able to make it out. We'll check back on that in a second. Just want a quick look up here. Looks like Foe's still going fairly strong, but the towers are doing a good job, and he did get the altar. I just wanted to clip that of the altar going down. Oh dear, Mountain King denied. Foe is not looking in a pretty spot right now, and that Shredder is not going anywhere either. So he's missing out on all that wood. He really needs wood right now. I think he's got bigger concerns. At this point, you could argue that the game is looking a little bit over, but Passion has been forced to come back to base. I'm not sure if he was quite forced, because it almost looked like Foe's forces were pretty much vanquished overall. I don't think he was too pressured to teleport back there, so he could have stayed where he was, but maybe he wanted to just take care of a couple of extra footmen, get a bit of experience from it. We're looking at level 4 for the Death Knight now, early level 4, late level 2 for the Lich. The Shredder actually has a purpose now. Ah, he did get 2 Shredders. I was going to say it would be odd if the Shredder from here was following that Archmage. What's this about? Is it just because of the lack of footmen? Maybe he's desperate for units, so Shredders is the next best thing. An expensive unit, but still it's got incredibly high DPS. It just sucks when it starts getting attacked. And there's a Sapper as well. He really wants to take care of this main. I've not really seen this tactic very often before. It's an odd one. But the Archmage is not even mid-level 4, so he's basically fallen behind Passion. He had that early game advantage, as a lot of humans do, with the fast creeping with militia, and it looks pretty much like he's fallen behind a little bit. These are like desperate attacks from what I can tell. Meanwhile, Passion is inside your main with a whole ton of fiends, a Lich with Orb of Corruption, and a Death Knight. I mean, that's not a comfortable position to be in as Foe. This base is gone unless he can find a way to deny it. Finally, Arcane Sanctums have been placed. I was waiting for Foe to build something other than footmen. Panda is the second hero. I'm going to assume that that is a natural choice for humans against undead, but I, once again, would not know. I'm simply commentating what I'm seeing and giving you my witty flair, but otherwise I'm not so clued up on who the players are and what the typical strategies are, and what the typical strategies are that the actual players normally use. I've not been covering that many games, as in none. This is basically the first. So we can see lots of cheeky Death Knight illusions, wandering around, hoping to catch something, maybe spotting any other potential creep areas. Yes, he knows that this is one. I like how he reacted very quickly there. That was nice. He actually managed to save that illusion because he reacted so quickly there. And that was a purge. That was like taking out half the health straight away. Smack on in there. Drunken Haze has not been taken because it was Breath and Fire instead. And 2 weak-ass water elementals. And he doesn't want to finish off the troll because he knows he's about to get ganked. Run, Foe, run. That little troll will not be yours. An illusion cannot creep this. You need a bit more than an illusion to creep that. I'm almost expecting a third hero in a second. I need to keep a check on status of everything, how the players are doing, army-wise, base-wise. There is no tier 3 from what I can see for Foe, but I was almost expecting there to be at some point. He just walks past the tavern and boom, there's an alchemist or something like that, and I'm going to go, this is going to be a weird-ass game. There's a lot of spellbreakers. Good unit choice. I don't think you can go too far wrong with spellbreakers against undead. We're still seeing more statues being built by Passion. He's doing his little patrol. Maybe he dislikes the old AFK icon for peasants and worker units that sits there. The idle worker icon. That's the word for it. When that comes up, that really bugs me for some reason. It shouldn't do, but it really does. So I pretty much have to, unless I've got my attention on something else, I will pretty much take my worker and make it patrol like this so it doesn't come up with that annoying icon. Even though the icon's kind of handy because you can click on it, or there's a hotkey, I can't remember which one it is, it's probably F8 or F10 something like that, that allows you to, F5 maybe, I could just chuck out F6 maybe. But anyway, there's a hotkey for it, I'm pretty sure, to sort of toggle through the different idle units or idle workers. Whereas if you have it patrolling, you won't be able to toggle that acolyte unless you go and click on the minimap for it. Uh-oh. Foe, at least you managed to clear that spot before you got ganked. You've had a pretty hard time this game, I'd say. Is that Archmage going to make it out? He's getting nicely blocked. There's another death coil, and the TP was given from the Panda, I believe, to allow the Archmage to escape, but he's not far. One death coil will do it. Oh, the vulnerability pot was taken to deny the death coil on the Archmage. The Archmage now has enough space to get far away from that Death Knight. This is a lot of space for an expansion, and it's completely chock-a-block with towers. Passion rather, sitting comfortably, as most undeads do when they've got a powerful Death Knight and a Lich and a couple of statues and lots of fiends. It's a nice position to be in, to be honest. Priests are next to come out from the Arcane Sanctums. As if they're not both destroyed by the time the priests come out. Come on, this priest is going to make it out. The Mountain King might have not done so, but this priest is going to do it. And I want to see another hero be built. Because I don't think... Oh, well, he has got the Panda. So he's sticking at 2 heroes at the moment, but he might need 3 heroes past this point. Although, obviously, he's going to need the tier 3 to help him out with that. Passion's base, completely and utterly untouched. Despite the early game, there was so much pressure, it's now left in peace. Acolytes being placed onto Passion's expansion, so Passion is soon going to be getting ahead in terms of gold, depending on his food count. Let's have a look. Oh, I can't tell. I'm going to have to... Wait a second. What's the hotkeys? I'll just go to click. I can do that, but it shows up him. So I suppose if I do it this way, you can actually see where the players are coming from. But there's no quick way to toggle between the players from what I can see on an immediate basis. Although if anyone wants to leave a comment and tell me what the secret hotkey is, then do so. But otherwise I'm going to be clicking like this, which seems kind of slow and clunky. But we can see that Foe is sitting underneath the 50 food cap. He's got so much wood, so that's not really an issue. And he's actually still got quite a lot of gold. He's just struggling to build anything with it because everything he tries to build gets killed. And then the buildings get killed after that. Now Passion isn't looking... Well, I don't know. He's got a larger army, so that income he's getting from that expansion isn't going to be as high because he's going to be in the low upkeep stages, which means he's only bringing in, I think, 7 gold per tick. So, yes, he's a little bit lower. However, he has got a powerful army, and I think at this point he's just trying to finish Foe off. I don't think he's thinking that... I don't believe he's thinking to preserve the game for the long run. Little does he know that this game obviously goes on a long time, because as you can see from here. Now, one thing I did realise already into the game is that I should probably move my face, which is probably like there, over to the bottom right, so that way you can't actually see the elapsed time. But hey ho, you live and learn, and I've gone through this far, so I'm not going to restart now. So I'll probably do that for the next time I cast one of these replays of the weeks. The priest made it! He's out. This is the issue though. I cannot see unless I select foe. So then I'm going to go back to selecting one of the actual observers. Of course, I could just tick Fog of War off and then click on one of the players. That would help. That way I don't need an observer. There you go. That is a lot of fiends. It looks like Foe thought he might be able to press away Passion's advance, but no. That's too many fiends. That's a real horrible position for Foe to be in right now. That is so many fiends, and they've got 2 upgrades on damage, which means that they're doing even more damage. But it looks like Foe has actually got his main back, and the altar once again is going to be destroyed, thus denying the second hero once again. Wait for it. There it goes. Lots of peasants for that gold mining. Foe is not sitting pretty. However, he's taken the opportunity here to actually assault Passion's expansion. I'm not sure if he scouted this earlier, but I assume that he assumed, at the very least, if he didn't scout it, that Passion had an expansion. Now, I understand his reasons for doing so, and it was probably the right decision, despite, unfortunately, being forced to lose a couple of units because of the sheer damage that comes out from a volley of fiends that are all attacking at exactly the same time. But he couldn't straight up take Passion's army on, so even with the towers, he didn't want to fight out here because then he's going to be away from the towers, and he just can't really beat that army. So he has to distract Passion, and he did the good job of that because he went for the expansion. If he was a bit luckier, he might have got a few acolyte kills. If he was really lucky, he would have got the expansion down, but at the very least, he still forced Passion to teleport away, which means that he gets to mine from his main just a little bit longer, and I don't think that Ultra King should be built there. It clearly does not want to be built there and stay there, you know? Looks like Foe is moving in once again on the expansion since he doesn't have much choice. A whole load of acolytes there. Moving on to somewhere else, maybe this expansion, but there's only one expansion each for the players basically on this map from what I can tell. I'm surprised there isn't like a extra gold mine somewhere else. It's pretty linear. Once you've got your expansion down, there's nowhere to really go from there other than dealing with the enemy or maybe creeping up, but I'm sure that it wouldn't take that long to get to level 5. Unless you were trying to get level 5 with all 3 heroes, then yeah, knock yourself out on the creeps. Looks like Passion is going for another teleport attack. Oh, he's teleported as far down as he can pretty much go. Nice little volley from the fiends, added on with the actual Orb of Corruption, means that those fiends are going to do that bit more damage. Free water elemental experience. Level 5 Death Knight, level 4 Lich. Passion. Got this one abomination in Foe's main.
Ready to work.
Just
Job done.
cheekily waltzing around. He's not even too bothered. He's get a couple of hits, take a lot of damage, maybe get another hit, then run away. Another hit, because he can take it. Literally, he can take it. Getting coiled, he's getting healed. Foe's got pretty much nothing left in his expansion, although I think we can argue that this might be referred to as his main from now on. And he's putting a lot of pressure back on Passion. Now that's one of the things that just made me think why this game would go on so long, is because there's only the fiends around, Archmage with the invisibility pot. But the good thing that Passion did here is he didn't move away. He left those fiends. He probably stuck them on hold position, so that way the Archmage, whilst invisible, still has to obey the laws of collision. and can therefore, unless he's a shade, which he isn't because he's not undead, and he's a hero, he's not a unit, he cannot pass through those other units. So he's stuck. So that was a good try, but Passion was not having any of it. Spellbreakers moving up. They're okay, to be honest. They don't take that much damage from Fiends. They'll still take damage, but Fiends are the only thing that can really damage them. Their heroes can't do too much because they're immune to magic. So Spellbreakers is the ideal choice here. You can be a bit ballsy with them and waltz around, because if they do get caught off, it's not like having a bunch of footmen or something where the undead could then capitalise on them being out in the open and Nova-ing them, and then the Death Knight picking them off with Death Coils. Not going to happen. Spellbreakers can just waltz up to your undead heroes and basically give them the finger for all they care. It looks like Spellbreakers are just trying to push their luck that bit further, but no, they're coming back. They are not immune to cold. And these poor little priests, for some reason, up here. I assume they had the backpack ability, otherwise what were they doing at the shop? Do they have the backpack ability? I don't see it if I'm clicking on these breakers. Not seeing 2 inventory slots, so what were the... I guess that was the wrong hotkey, or he just left it off. Water elementals are pretty beasty now, so it takes a bit to actually bring them down, which means that that one isn't even going to die. It actually ran out before it died. Now, this is it. The third hero for foe. This is what he needs. And he desperately needs that paladin to not get basically insta-killed every single time there is an engagement between these two players. Is that a Griffin Avery at the back? It is. There's 2 workshops planned for foe. I'm not sure what he's got planned, but I'm interested. There's a Tome of Knowledge left there, but I understand the reasoning for that, since foe knows that he needs to get out of there, and now that Death Knight is getting punished, and punished hard, and as we expected, he was going to get insta-killed. Ugh, but he does need that third hero, I do believe so. Once again, the old hero building whilst the altar is being killed syndrome. Looks like it's happening all over again. Foe has been harassing hard though at Passion's expansion, but one good thing you can say for Passion is he didn't like leave his acolytes there and try and mine whilst the guy is basically harassing. He took them off because Foe's starting to realise that this game's going on a while. Passion's starting to realise this game's going on a while now, and one of the reasons for leaving those acolytes sort of out of the reach of the Archmage is simply because you can put them back on. You've got to remember that this is a long game. That's the only expansion. They don't know it's a long game, obviously, at the time, but that's the only expansion, so they know that long games can happen, because that is the only expansion, so you have to hold on to that for as long as you can, and there's a lot of gold. There's a lot of gold in that expansion, and Foe has basically got almost 10,000, he's got 9,000 gold less in his expansion, or his main, compared to Passion. Passion hasn't got any gold coming from his main, so let's have a look at the situation. For Foe, he's sitting at 38 food, 600 gold basically, 200 gold for Passion, but 65 food. He's got himself 15,000 gold basically in total. Foe has got himself 6,300, 4,100, so he's got about 10,100, so he's about 5,000 grand down, old Foe, so he's not doing too good, but could be worse. But that's hard to say, to be honest, because watching this game seems a bit painful at the moment, because Foe's been getting pretty battered. Passion has no doubt been leading the way in terms of dominance this game. I see gyros, flying machines, trying to sneak around or not be spotted at the very least. Arcane Towers doing a great job of annoying that Lich. Get out of here, mana. Meat wagons slowly wailing on the Arcane Tower, but the damage is low because the Arcane Tower has 3 points of upgrade, and that upgrade is on heavy armor. Is that Paladin back yet? Are we going to see the Paladin make a comeback? He's halfway through being built. Archmage taking a chunk of health. Looks like Foe is actually pushing out here quite aggressively. He's going for it. Panda is getting a bit battered though. You can't really have a hero near undead heroes because they will get insta-gibbed practically. Oh, there's a Nova. He was getting in position for that Nova. It did go off, but the Archmage survived. Oh, and Passion goes right back in because this is such a small map and the engagement wasn't very far. He just came bowling straight back to the expansion main and decided to take care of one of those heroes. But it's okay, the Paladin's here and he's going to start soaking up the experience instead of the Panda. So he's got to level 2 already. Can he make it to level 3 before dying? We'll find out. Oh, he's getting a bit of pressure on him. Foe really hasn't got that much, but the water elementals are helping out a lot here. Gyrocopters obviously do a good job versus destroyers, otherwise I wouldn't understand why you would build them, especially against fiends, but hey ho, I don't see any destroyers. Now, Paladin, Mr. Paladin surviving once again. Foe seems to have a habit, thank goodness, of surviving with about 1% HP on his heroes. He needs that. If he didn't have that, this game would already be over by this point. So he's hanging in there by the skin of his teeth. Water Elemental this time actually got a long summoning time left. This one not so much, so he will probably not get killed. Let's find out. Actually, he will get killed. He's dropping health very quickly there. He certainly did after I started to say that. Now, 13,500 gold, still plenty left. Foe doing okay for gold. Passion, I was going to say, must be frustrated by not being able to push any further. As far as he's concerned, this game is his. And he's probably thinking, why can't I just finish this guy off? Why won't he die? Because it's such an annoying thing to deal with all those towers, especially the arcane towers that's undead, since a lot of your power is from your spells, and the arcane towers pretty much take care of your mana. But now that he has reached level 6 on the Lich, he hasn't got the mana for it, but he might bide his time and wait for that moment to arise, unless he keeps getting into little engagements forcing him to spend that mana on Frost Nova. He is going to save it for Death and Decay, the level 6 ability for Lich, which means that he can basically do area of effect damage to an area. Yes, it is kind of that simple. It does, like, I don't know, 2% of the health of whatever it's targeting every second. I'm not sure. That might be right, that might be wrong, but it's roughly along those lines. It's a bit like Earthquake, except it's based off damage percentage, health percent damage, basically. Anyway, Dark Ranger has been selected for Passion as his third hero. Foe is pushing once again, very bravely. He's doing a great job. Maybe he's realising that he's getting to the point where his gold mine's getting a bit low and he needs to maybe take care of Passion. The Paladin did not make it out, but maybe he'll get built again. I doubt it, since Foe can't be that wealthy. He's been under a lot of pressure. He's had to build a lot of units. He was wealthy at the start. He seemed to not want to build many units at the start, saving it for something, I don't know, but that made his life very difficult. All I can say is I wonder how different this game would have been if he did build a lot more units at the start, other than just footmen. But either way, he's still hanging in there strong. Panda getting pretty heavily focused. Is Passion going to switch to the Archmage? No, the Archmage is going to teleport away. He's not going to teleport away with everything. That was a strange teleport. It didn't quite capture everything. There is a steam tank up here. Meat wagon is a good counter to that, though. So at least Passion has a meat wagon for dealing with that. Otherwise, the steam tank can pretty much last for almost an eternity, even against quite a lot of towers. They are pesky buggers. Believe me, in my 4v4s, I deal with steam tanks a lot. They're very good. I'm not sure how strong they are in 1v1, but I have seen some strange games in the past where steam tanks have been used against Night Elf players like non-stop, pretty much only steam tanks being built, and somehow that's actually resulted in some pretty interesting, fun, long games. Now, Passion, is this a sign of his frustration? ... Like I was saying, he's getting a bit wound up by Foe's resistance to dying. Passion is actually being pushed away. The status quo has changed. I mean, this is interesting. It's like the slipper is on the other foot and Passion is being pushed back, whereas all the time it was Foe being pushed back. But gradually, the last 10 minutes or so, as you notice, right from his expansion point, main, Foe has been basically pushing Passion back, whilst being at what I can only say is probably a disadvantage. Even though Spellbreakers are great against Undead, it's not like he had the best army, let's face it, against what Passion was dealing with. But Passion by no means has played badly at all. He's played amazingly. Both of these players have played amazingly. It's just, I imagine that Passion might be feeling that sense of he's being a bit ripped off. As in, he's not really understanding why this game is still not over yet. And he's like, why can I just not kill this guy? I should have killed him by now. He should be dead. Water Elemental. How much experience are you going to get, Mr. Death Knight? So you got, I think that was 15, 25 experience for the Death Knight. And I assume probably about 30 for the Lich. No, 25 against for the Lich. And maybe, I don't know actually how it all works, but not that much. You'd have to kill a lot of Water Elementals before you start leveling up any further than he already has done. Level 6, and level 2. Passion's looking good for hero levels. Foe, not quite so much, but he's not too far behind. He's got level 6 Archmage, level 4 Panda, level 2 Paladin. Steam Tanks going to town again. They do not like Nerubian Towers. Did Nerubian Towers like tanks? I don't know. Apparently not.
Our forces are under attack.
A Lonesome Ghoul trying to take care of maybe a militia or a peasant. He would have done. He would have just probably auto-attacked into this area, but if he had a little bit more control he would have moved that ghoul over to the peasant. But anyway, there's still 4,000 gold left in this expansion main. I'm not even sure what to call these gold mines anymore, to be honest. There's the flying sheep again. Passion still got 10,900 gold in his expansion, so he's still doing really good for gold. He's still 5,000 gold up. Despite all that's been happening in this game, they're relatively sitting on the same place. I'm surprised that Lich didn't try to sneak in an extra couple of hits on the peasant just to finish it off. But he's going to deal with this town hall. There's no way the peasant's going to stop that from going down. I assume a cancel. Yeah, he's going to try and get a little bit of repair, but it's not going to do anything. Obviously, he can't do much. Foe! Oh, I am corrected. I don't think the repair he did... maybe it did. He only really repaired about that much, you know. Actual health. But by repairing, he distracted the Lich, which then spent a bit of its time that it could have been used damaging the town hall, then damaging the peasant. So... I think that was a real touch and go, but you could argue that that peasant coming back there at that right moment just was enough to stop that town hall from dying. Just say, for example, the Lich was just auto-attacking the town hall. In that same time, instead where it decided to attack the peasant, would it have killed that town hall? Think about it. That's an interesting one. But either way, that town hall's still there. So, good for Foe. Because he doesn't really want to have to rebuild another town hall. They're not that cheap. Death and Decay finally going off. Unfortunately, Passion used it right in front of the Arcane Tower. I'm starting to detect a bit of panic from Passion. Now Foe, once again putting the pressure on this expansion of Passions. He's moving back his army, Passion, to try and deal with it. Steam Tanks are not easily killed by Undead. This is why they're good against Undead. Only Meat Wagons are good really against siege engines, but they're not really that great. But okay, they do siege damage, so it makes sense to use them against siege engines. But you don't often have Meat Wagons. It was odd enough that Passion had them in the first place. The only real reason why he had them was so that he could actually more comfortably assault Foe's expansion main. So yeah, this has turned out to be quite a fascinating game. With Foe, I would almost argue, has a slight bit more control than Passion. Right now it doesn't look like it, but from what I can tell, The way the the players have been reacting towards each other, it looks like Passion is slightly more in the back foot. He's not behind though. Not really. Gold-wise, he's still up on Foe. So 44 food for Passion, 28 food for Foe, so he's still ahead. By all means, Passion is ahead. But something tells me that Foe's not going to give up that easily. Is it the clue of the entire game being played thus far? I think so. He's not exactly... I mean, that teleport is really a meta game changer, isn't it, really? That changes the meta game. As so many casters love to use that word. But, wow. That just really changes things, because look, Passion has now run all the way back. Once again, he could have been sitting here, but he's not. Ah, very good move. So, looks like Foe was doing as much damage as he could do, as he could get away with there. And then he teleported back and was going to get a bit of cheeky damage on the Lich. Unfortunately, he didn't get to kill the Lich. Maybe a teleport to the farm would have been better. Might have been able to block the Lich off, but this is a tense game, and no one's going to be playing perfectly. To say the least, these players have played amazingly, so I'm really nitpicking here when I say stuff like that, so don't take that to heart too much. I certainly wouldn't have played anywhere near as well as these two. Now, we're seeing peasants constantly being harassed, but not for long, because Foe is once again in Passion's expansion. Whilst there's 9,000 gold there, it doesn't look like Passion is even... He can't really afford to lose that expansion, because he hasn't got gold to rebuild it, unless he unsummons buildings, which he might have to. He might get to that point. It looks like he's going to get to that point, because the siege tanks are on that mine. That is going down. His best hope here is to try and kill the heroes. Oh, he's got the Paladin surrounded, but the Paladin is the one that's going to have Divine Shield, and then obviously gets teleported out with a Staff of Sanctuary. Oh, noes. Steam tanks, not quite content with destroying the expansion, are now moving towards the main. Is it the main? No, they're moving back. I'm not sure what they're up to. They're not quite committing. Yes, they're committing now. I wanted to make sure what those steam tanks were doing. Foe is back at his main expansion. I don't know. What is this? But anyway, he's keeping it alive just about. But he's had to TP away. But he's TP to Passion's Passion's main. And Passion is probably going to feel pressure to run back. He's probably killing him right now. He does. Yeah, he wants the TP. He's not going to get the kill on his main expansion. No. Oh wait, my mistake. I thought that was a scroll of teleport. It wasn't. It was just the staff of teleportation. But the Lich is not going to be enough to deal with this. I wonder if that's going to end up costing him. Could that Lich die without the Death Knight nearby? I don't think so. There's towers and the Death Knight is on his way, so the Lich isn't going down just yet. Oh, Foe is TPing out just before, and look, Passion's having none of it. As soon as he sees the teleport going off, if you saw in the minimap, he started heading straight back down. He wants to catch Foe. Foe is being super annoying now with these teleports. Heck, I'm expecting to see it go off again in a moment. How many heals you got left? Not much mana left on the Paladin, so if the other two heroes get into too much trouble, the Paladin will not be able to save them other than using the Staff of Sanctuary. And that's if the Paladin lives, because he's getting a bit... Ugh. There we go. Was that the... That was a unit sent back. That was a knight. That's going to be healing up nicely whilst he's stuck there. Paladin got his Divine Shield. He's going to need to back shortly, because he can't really take too many more death coils. Lich just trying to bring down the tanks. Lich is somewhat good DPS, I guess, against tanks. Not multiple tanks, but one tank. Yeah, that's okay. This expansion has not been retaken. I don't even think there's acolytes left for Passion. He's actually the underdog now, I would say. Simply because... Okay, no, he's not the underdog. No, he's not. I was just about to say, simply because Foe has his main. Nope, look on the minimap, there's no main there. There's no main expansion, whatever. It's not there. So neither player From what I can tell, is able to harvest any more gold apart from, hang on a second, I did see that peasant. I'm just checking it even more before you say anything. There's this peasant. There's one peasant left. What is he gonna do? And how long would it take him to get gold from this gold mine? And the ghoul's there anyway to try and deny it, but then again the knight's there to deny the ghoul. Ooh, invulnerability pot used for the lich, where he probably did not want to have to use that, since this is getting to that point in the game where every little bit matters. I know this from the Tower Islands that myself and Pracky play, where some of the games are so tough and you're so scrapped for resources, every little bit counts. Heck, we can't even build some units that are pretty crucial to securing a Tower Island defense, because we just can't afford it. We have to have those resources in budget for other units that are no doubt going to need to be replaced. Oh dear, anyway, enough about that. Back onto this. Passion just about hanging in there with his 3 heroes. They can't have much mana left. They still got a lot. I'm wrong. There's still a lot of mana left on these heroes, so he's still going to survive the next little few engagements. And there's even statues to keep those heroes filled up. Is that Panda? Is he going to get Scroll Staff of Sanctuary out? Love that. That was nice. Imagine if he got that in the wrong order, though. He used the Panda to Staff of Sanctuary, the Archmage, and then the Paladin to Staff of Sanctuary, the Panda. But if he got that wrong, then one of those heroes would have been stuck. And then probably Death Coiled and Frost Nova. But he did it right. And he did it with exceptional timing. Steam Tank finally denied. Imagine if you got Pillage. If you could research Pillage and you get like the resources back from Steam Tanks. My goodness. How good would that be? Okay. So that gold mine, there's not really much there. This peasant, I don't think Foe has... Well, he's not really in a position where it would even hurt him to risk taking that peasant to the gold mine. Then again, how much he must have... He's not got any wood left. Didn't he have like 5,000 wood or something? Not quite. I'm super exaggerating there, but... Yeah, okay, now this may be a reason for hanging on to the peasant and making sure that it doesn't die, is the fact that there is actually a creep spot left, which means that there is gold left. So let's see how much gold we get from this little fella. If you can call him little. Ooh, 113 gold from that guy. So he's back up to 241 gold. If only there was a couple more creeps left on the map, which I'm almost certain there is. That Tome of Knowledge is still there. There's nothing left. So, hang on a second. 385 gold for a town hall, isn't it? So he needs 150 gold, I believe, to rebuild his town hall, Foe. Which means that's 15 trips to the gold mine from this distance. That's going to be quite a long time, but it's not unfeasible. It's pretty doable, considering how long the game's gone already. Oh, the knight got taken down. Unfortunately, Foe is running out of units. He's only got his heroes left. I'm not sure where all these fiends came from, unless I just... It's Passion's last bit of gold. Did he unsummon? Did he get his expansion back? No. He just seems to have a bunch of fiends now. I just remember seeing him with heroes only for the last 5 or so minutes, so unless I wasn't keeping track of those fiends, they've just recently been built somehow. Did he sell a bunch of items? Steam Tank. I'll tell you what, one of the big issues here... Oh, what was that? Did he cancel that deliberately? Or was that a mistake? Hard to tell, actually, what his thinking was. But as you can tell, because Passion doesn't have any other buildings left on the map, this is it. If those 3 buildings go down, Passion loses. Even if he has the stronger army or the stronger hero combination, he loses. Besides, I'm not even sure if he's necessarily that much stronger hero-wise. Paladins... Oh, that was a lovely Divine Shield to deflect... Well, basically, didn't deflect it, it just negated the damage from the Death Coil. So we've got level 7 Death Knight. Early level 7. Early-ish level 3 Dark Ranger. And very early level 7 Lich. Whereas Foe's sitting at level 6 Archmage, level 4 Panda, level 4 Paladin. I'd still give it to Passion, but I think that the reason why Foe might be in a slight bit more of an advantageous position is simply because he's got more hero diversity. The Panda brings in AoE. The Paladin straight up heals, Divine Shield, harass, attack, you know, vulnerability, teleports from the Archmage, water elementals. He could use those eventually to bring down the building to Passion if he really had to. Oh, Passion distracted with this battle, understandably so, but Steam Tank's trying to sneak by. He can't quite sneak this Steam Tank by because he's getting blocked by the units. This is nice unit placement by Passion. I'm going to be curious here. I don't really want to stay away from the battle, but just for a moment, is that Steam Tank healing? It is! The Steam Tank benefits from Sanctuary Heal. Oh, if only he had another star for Sanctuary for that. But I suppose he might not even want to risk it, even if he did, simply because he want to secure his hero's survival. It's not easy. I mean, it's an amazingly imbalanced item, if you want to call it that, star for Sanctuary. It's pretty expensive, so I think it's pretty worthwhile, but potentially it is amazing. Oh, that was a good time to level, wasn't it? That helped out a little bit. I'm not sure if he would have died otherwise, but it's a little health boost nonetheless. Water Elemental going to go down, but no hero experience for you really, because last time I checked you were still early on all of your levels. There's only a few fiends left, no more statues. No, one more statue. One little statue. I don't like this bug that's been in Warcraft 3 for like the beginning of time, where you can see on the minimap it looks like there's buildings there, but there aren't. There's no buildings there. And where does he get the resources for this? Foe, that's his last tank. No, he's still got another one. He's somehow sneaking the resources in every now and then, bit by bit, to get these tanks constantly coming in. Ah. Steam Tank, did he just somehow fool the Dark Ranger? It looks like it did. It looks like it did like loop round the tree or something like that. Fog of War, maybe he might have tricked the Dark Ranger and the Dark Ranger's looking for the Steam Tank. I don't know. Dark Ranger's looking for an expansion, main, whatever. Steam Tank cannot press any further, but Passion, if he's stuck at his base, is not doing too pretty. Was that an item used? Or did someone just use the actual laboratory to reveal? Because I wouldn't have thought that gold is something that you can afford to spend right now on bloody reveal. But there you go. Oh, another fiend picked off, another statue taken down. As long as Foe doesn't lose a hero at this point, he's got this. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Huh. What a game. What a game. Both players really top notch there. Strange thing is that Foe actually got the most gold in the long run, when all along I was sort of saying, you know, oh look, Passion, he's still 5,000 gold ahead. But that 5,000 gold means nothing if that gold mine gets taken care of. And he can't use it, he can't take any more gold. He's screwed. So Foe actually pulled it back, and fair play to him. He really tried, and he succeeded. He worked his ass off there to actually come back into the game, and that was something else. That's all I can say. I'm sure you guys are pretty amazed by that game as well. You won't see many games of that caliber, to be quite frank. There's a reason why that's Replay of the Week. Wow. Alright then, thank you very much for joining me in this, and stay tuned for more, I suppose. And I'll see you later. So please subscribe, like and comment. This has been Woody. Bye for now.